What is one thing I look for in a candidate to vote for them? This is Jedi's for Jesus. As my thumbnail says, the dishonest party. And also, what my shirt says, fear is a liar. And fear is something that Satan wants. Not only him, but also the party from the left wants you to be in fear, and they want to control you. And the truth will set you free. The truth is, follow God's laws. And one of those laws is not, I repeat, not to abort a baby.
Pregnancy Care Center, which is awesome. They help save lives, unlike Planned Parenthood, which is just down the road, that helps kill babies. And I ran into this guy. Hey, let me see it. Don't be ashamed. I mean, you should be ashamed. It's terrible. They save lives. This is what the left is, guys. It's just so vulgar. We got to pray for him and pray for the left in our country. Is there any reason why you chose that language? You want to say anything about it? Is there a sign? Say everything you want to say. That's it?
After watching that video about Ben and what he thinks about the whole abortion issue, that is exactly how I think also. People are always wondering when life begins. I will show you this video that this is where life begins.
The sperm and egg unite as their DNA contents merge together, giving rise to a new human being. After 24 hours, the fertilized egg, now zygote, divides, continued by further development. The now growing embryo drops in the uterus from the fallopian tube and achieves implantation 5 days after fertilization. After 3 weeks from conception, pregnancy hormone, human chorionic gonadotropin, or HCG, can be detected by pregnancy tests.
Sperm to make contact will fertilize the egg. After a perilous journey and against incredible odds, a single sperm attaches to the egg cell membrane. Within a few minutes, their outer membranes fuse and the egg pulls the sperm inside. This event causes changes in the egg membrane that prevent other sperm from attaching to it. Next, the egg releases chemicals that push other sperm away from the egg and create an impenetrable fertilization membrane. As the reaction spreads outward, the zona pellucida hardens, trapping any sperm unlucky enough to be caught inside. Outside the egg, sperm are no longer able to attach to the zona pellucida. Meanwhile, inside the egg, the tightly packed male genetic material spreads out. A new membrane forms around the genetic material, creating the male pronucleus. Inside, the genetic material reforms into 23 chromosomes. The female genetic material, awakened by the fusion of the sperm with the egg, finishes dividing, resulting in the female pronucleus, which also contains 23 chromosomes. As the male and female pronuclei form, spiderweb-like threads, called microtubules, pull them toward each other. The two sets of chromosomes join together, completing the process of fertilization. At this moment, a unique genetic code arises, instantly determining gender, hair color, eye color, and hundreds of other characteristics. This new single cell, the zygote, is the beginning of a new human being.
The sperm goes inside the egg, it splits, life begins. Now it's only up to God whether He's going to let that baby go to full term. If He, for some reason, makes the woman have a miscarriage, then that's God's choice. Not the woman's choice to go ahead and take a morning after pill, or she decides that she wants to go ahead and a few months later abort it, and everybody's saying that it's a woman's choice. Yes, it is the woman's choice. It is the woman's choice to not have sex. It's the woman's choice to make sure that the man is wearing a condom. It is a woman's choice to be on birth control. It is a woman's choice not to have sex before marriage. But that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video. So, as I'm playing some more of these videos on when life begins, some people would disagree. But I don't care what people think. I care what God thinks. Two cells come together, and when those cells duplicate, that is life. Because they are looking for life on other planets. Scientists, we hear that word a lot. What do scientists say? Well, scientists say if there's an organism that's living on a different planet, that is life. So, two cells come together. Now all of a sudden it duplicates. That is life. That is when life begins. Say this, that God is on the throne. No matter who gets into office, God is still in control. God will use anybody he sees fit to use. And I honestly believe, and a lot of Americans believe, that Donald Trump is being used by God in a good way. So there are three people I'm going to focus on in this video. It's Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, and Kamala Harris. They're all from the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party believes in, as they like to put it really nice, pro-choice. The way I look at it, killing babies. Period. It's what it is. It's something that God would not approve of. And I think right now that is what is happening to the United States. There is more innocent lives being slaughtered than Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, all the way up to this date, the Iraq War, Desert Storm, all of these wars, all combined since the early 70s, there has been more babies slaughtered than all the men have been killed in those wars. If you read the Bible and get into it, you find out that when a country wasn't doing what God wanted them to do, he took them out. So I'm not going to get into that. God comes down on a country because they're totally turning away from him. We're taking God out of so many different things. It's time to put him back in. The next video I'm about to show you is what Gavin Newsom thinks.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed what he calls a proclamation on reproductive freedom. He says it reaffirms the commitment to protecting women's reproductive choices, educates Californians about their rights to reproductive freedom, and welcomes women to the state to exercise that right. In a separate letter, Governor Gavin Newsom joined Washington and Oregon's governor in a statement that read in part, quote, Roe is settled law, but newly enacted and clearly unconstitutional laws in a handful of states compel our states to act now to reaffirm long-standing commitments to safeguard the fundamental rights.
Go ahead and subscribe, give a thumbs up, and go ahead and hit the bell. Thank you. This next video I'm about to show you is what Nancy Pelosi thinks. And she is also the aunt of Gavin Newsom.
I don't want to be a fearmonger, but this is scary. This is really dangerous, what they're trying to do to a woman's right to choose. It's a funny thing because they don't believe in governance. They don't want clean air, clean water, food safety, all those things that governments do. They don't want this, they don't want that, they don't want, but they big government when it comes to a woman's right to choose. big government there. So we have a fight on our hands. But I'll tell you this one thing. For my first 25 years in the Congress, I was banging my head up against a brick wall trying to say to people they don't support family planning. Nobody would believe that. Until just a few years ago, they decided they were going, when they had the majority, that they would take away all the funding for Planned Parenthood. They don't believe in family planning. So it's not just about terminating a pregnancy, it's about preventing money going to people. If you don't like terminating a pregnancy, you should love family planning, right? But they do not support that. Medicare for all is one of the ideas that is on the table. All of us agree that we should have health care for all Americans. We want to do it with the highest quality, the most accessibility, and the way that it can be fiscally responsible.
Last but not least, Kamala Harris. I'll show you that video briefly. And here is something she went ahead and tweeted. So it just shows you how these Democrats are thinking. They're not thinking about me and you. They're thinking about themselves and how they can put more money in their bank account. So I want to go ahead and show you this. Here it is. Kamala Harris skips the vote for COVID relief. And here it is. The Democrats are always talking about, I want to help the people. So why didn't she go ahead and vote yes on the relief package, but instead she doesn't even show up. Kamala Harris thinks about abortion.
On Tuesday, Senator Kamala Harris unveiled a bill that would block new abortion laws in states before they have a chance to go into effect. Harris's Reproductive Rights Act aims to take the legal burden off of advocacy groups that often sue in order to block new laws, and instead requires certain states to prove their laws are constitutional before they can take effect. Harris, who's campaigning to be the Democratic nominee for president, has said she'll pass this pre-clearance requirement if she wins the presidency in 2020. Under her proposal, that would mean states and localities with a history of unconstitutionally restricting access to abortion would be required to pre-clear any new law or practice with the Department of Justice. In an interview with CNN last week, Harris said there is an attack on women's access to health care. There is no question the government should not be in the business of taking those decisions away from women. According to the New York Times, Harris noted she'll need 60 Senate votes to pass her proposal and urged voters to follow congressional races.
Down below in the description, there is a link there for you to follow Jesus.